Welcome to the 3D world of TriSpectives.
The main parts of the TriSpectives display are the 3D scene, the catalog browser, the scene browser, and the toolbars.
To view one of the models in the Showcase catalog, drag its icon from the catalog and drop it in the 3D scene.
The right mouse button gives you quick access to many TriSpective functions.
Right-click on any part of a model to display additional selections.
Right-click on many other objects in the scene, including the scene itself, to display pop-up menus with the most common functions.
The modeling modes determine the level of detail you work at with your shape or model. Use the mouse or the selection tools to select the mode you want.
In the model mode, you work with all the components in the model at once.
The IntelliShape mode lets you work with individual IntelliShapes in a model.
In the surface mode, you work with individual surfaces, edges, or vertices of a single IntelliShape. You can work with any part of a model or the model as a whole. To work with the model as a whole, select it by clicking it once. To clear the current selection, click in the blank area of the scene.
To work with a single IntelliShape within a model, click it twice. To work with one surface, edge, or vertex within a shape, click it 3 times. If you want to work with a series of shapes or edges, use the selection tools.
Click the Edit IntelliShapes tool to work with shapes. Whenever you click on a model, you select a shape. Click the Edit Surfaces tool if you want to work with a series of surfaces, edges, or vertices.
Deselect both tools to work with the entire model.
You can build a model from basic geometric forms called IntelliShapes. To see some IntelliShapes, open the Shapes catalog.
To start a model, select the Edit IntelliShapes tool, then drag a shape from the catalog and drop it in the scene. Add new shapes to the first one to create the basic form of your model. The shapes will be the same color, indicating they are all part of the same model.
You can attach a shape as a separate model to an existing model.
While in model mode, drag a shape from the catalog and drop it on the model already in the scene.
Notice that the color of the shape is different from the first model. This indicates that the two models are separate and not part of the same model.
You can combine 2 separate models into one model.
Select the model you want to be the base shape, then Shift-select the second model. Select Boolean from the Shape menu.
The color of the second model changes to match the first model, to indicate the 2 shapes are now part of the same model.
You can remove material from your model with one of the many holes in the Shapes catalog.
Holes work like other IntelliShapes. Drag one from the Shapes catalog and drop it on your model. When you select an IntelliShape, you see its shape handles.
To make the shape bigger or smaller, drag one or more of the handles. Some circular shapes, known as spin shapes, have a square handle.
Drag the square handle along an angular path to add or remove material in the shape. You can create custom IntelliShapes using 4 tools on the 3D Shapes toolbar.
For example, choose the Extrude Shape tool and then click in the 3D scene. Follow the instructions on the Extrude Shape wizard until you see the 2D drawing grid.
To create a custom shape, you draw the cross-section that defines the shape. When you're done drawing, click Finish Shape to extend the cross-section into 3D.
Along with extrusion, you can create custom shapes through spinning, sweeping, and lofting. When you work on the 2D drawing surface, you can drag the horizontal and vertical axes to position them on your model.
Use the 2D drawing tools to create lines, circles, and other geometry.
To move a line or other element, select it and drag it. Drag an endpoint to change the size of a 2D item.
To see endpoint coordinates for your drawings, select the Show Endpoint Positions tool. To see angle values, choose the Show Curve Dimensions tool.
To change the size or angle of an object, select it and drag the blue handles.
To move any 2D item, select it and drag it to a new position on the grid. For precise positioning, select the item and choose the Move 2D Curves tool. Right-click and drag, then choose Move or Copy. Enter the value of the distance you want to move the item.
To rotate a 2D item, choose the Rotate 2D Curves tool and drag the item around the pushpin. To scale a 2D item, choose the Scale 2D Curves tool and drag the item towards or away from the pushpin. To create a mirror image of 2D geometry, select the item or items you want to mirror and choose the Mirror Curves tool.
Select the curve or draw a new curve you want to mirror about.
Use SmartSnap to help you position the IntelliShapes in your model.
First, select the shape you want to move. Then hold down the Shift key and drag the selected shape.
As you drag, watch for the visual cues from SmartSnap. A green dot indicates a center point. Green lines appear when two edges are aligned.
Use the Move From To tool to line up one shape to 3 intersection points with another shape.
Select the shape, then select the Move From To tool.
Click and drag a point on the shape and drop it on the target point of the second shape. This action joins the two shapes at a single point, constraining the motion by this point.
Click and drag a second point to join the two shapes edge to edge. This further constrains the motion along the axis connecting the 2 points.
Finally, repeat the process a third time to join the two shapes surface to surface.
Use attachment points to join two shapes at a particular spot.
Select the shape, then choose Attachment Point from the Insert menu. Place the attachment point by clicking on the shape in the scene.
Now add a new shape to the first one. TriSpectives highlights the attachment point when you drag over it.
Drop the new shape on the attachment point. The two shapes are connected at this point. To see a reference grid in the 3D scene, select Grid from the View menu.
Now, when you select an object, you see the coordinates of its anchor point relative to the origin of the scene grid. Smart Dimensions are tools for measuring and positioning the components of your model.
To measure or set the distance between two objects, click the Linear Smart Dimension tool. Then click the point where you want to place one end of the smart dimension. Click the point where you want to place the other end.
The smart dimension shows the current distance between the two objects. To set the distance, right-click the value and choose Edit this smart dimension. Enter a new value and click OK. The TriBall is a universal 3D positioning device. To work with it, select a shape or model and then choose the TriBall tool.
To move the object along a single axis using the TriBall, click and drag one of the handles.
To move the object to a precise location, right-click the position value and select Edit Value.
Enter a new position value and click OK. To move an object around on a 2D plane, click and drag one of the squares on the surface of the TriBall.
To rotate an object around an axis, right-click one of the TriBall handles. Then move the pointer inside the TriBall. Click and drag to rotate the object around the axis.
To rotate the object by a specific angle, right-click the rotation value and select Edit Value. Enter a new angle and click OK. To rotate an object without selecting an axis, move the mouse pointer over the edge of the TriBall. Then click and drag to rotate the object.
The effect is constrained rotation around the center of the TriBall. For unconstrained rotation, click and drag within the body of the TriBall. For precise positioning, you can move and rotate the TriBall itself.
First, right-click the anchor dot at the center of the TriBall and choose Position TriBall from the menu. Now you can use the controls on the TriBall to change the position or angle of the TriBall.
This technique is helpful if you want to line up a handle or other TriBall feature with the underlying object. You can use the TriBall to make copies and linked copies of a shape or model. For example, right-click a tri-ball handle and drag the object to a new location. When you release the right mouse button, choose Copy Here from the pop-up menu and click OK.
Use the camera tools to view your model from different perspectives.
To rotate your viewpoint around the model, click the Orbit Camera tool and then click and drag within the scene. Use the Pan Camera tool to move your viewpoint around on a 2D plane in front of the model. To view a particular surface on the model straight on, select the Look At tool and then click the surface.
Try the other camera tools to see how they change your point of view. You can create hollow shapes through a process called shelling.
Select the shape, right-click it, and choose IntelliShape Properties. Select the Shell tab and choose the Shell This Shape option.
Enter the thickness of the remaining walls and any other shelling properties you need. Choose the OK button to hollow out the shape.
You can extend the shelling process beyond the end of a shape into another shape. Select the shape you want to shell, right-click, and choose IntelliShape Properties.
Select the Shell tab and choose the Shell This Shape option. Enter the wall thickness, then enter the offset amount that you want the shelling to continue in either the start, end, or side direction.
Choose the OK button to hollow out one shape and part of the other shape.
To add a tapered extension to a shape, first select it, then right-click and choose IntelliShape Properties.
Choose the Surface Reshaping tab and select the surface you want to taper.
Select the Taper option and enter the angle for tapering.
Choose OK to taper the shape. To add a spherical cap to a shape, first select it, then right-click and choose IntelliShape Properties.
Choose the Surface Reshaping tab and select the surface you want to cap.
Select the Cap option and enter the height of the cap.
Choose OK to cap the shape.
You can adjust the cap height by pulling on the square handle or moving the cap center by dragging the center handle.
To see the light sources that illuminate your model, select Lights from the View menu.
If necessary, choose the Fit Scene tool to see the light sources. To change the color of a light, right-click it and choose Light Properties.
Choose the Light tab and select one of the color options.
Select OK to see the new color.
To move one of the cylindrical directional lights, drag it with the mouse.
You can also drag one of the conical spotlights.
For precise positioning of a spotlight, use the tri-ball.
To add shadows to your model, right-click a light source and choose Cast Shadows from the menu. Then right-click in the scene and choose Rendering.
Choose the Realistic Shading and Shadows options. Choose OK to see the shadows on your model. To add color to the surfaces of your model, drag an item from the Colors catalog and drop it on the model.
You can also add surface textures by dragging and dropping items from the Textures catalog. You can use the Texture tool to manipulate textures, bumps, and decals. Select the model or surface you want to manipulate, then select either the Texture, Bumps, or Decal tool from the Tools menu. The tool is displayed as a representation of the way the texture is applied to the model. You can resize the texture by resizing the tool.
You can make additional changes from a pop-up menu by right-clicking anywhere in the scene. In addition, you can manipulate the orientation of the texture with the tri-ball. Turn the Texture tool off by deselecting the tool in the Tools menu. To create an assembly, first add all the component models to the scene and position them correctly.
Open the Scene browser, then hold down the Shift key and select each model in the browser.
Click the Group tool to work with the assembly as a single unit. Use the Scene browser to change an IntelliShape's history in a model. By changing its history, you change the order that the IntelliShape is applied in the model.
Open the Scene browser and expand the model history list. Then drag and drop the icon for the IntelliShape you want to reorder.
Use caution when reordering IntelliShapes, as you may cause unforeseen changes in your model. For example, if a hole shape has been applied to a block and you move the block after the hole, the association of the hole to the block will be lost and the block will cover the hole.
To animate your model, drag an item from the animation catalog and drop it on the model.
Click the On tool on the Smart Motions toolbar, then click the Play tool to begin the animation. To create an animation path, select the model you want to animate, then select the Add New Path tool from the Smart Motions toolbar.
The Smart Motion wizard appears. Select Finish. The animation path grid appears. Select the Extend Path tool from the Smart Motions toolbar and click on the grid as many times as you want to define the path.
Drag the points to modify the path. Use the triball to set the orientation of the model along the path.
Click the On tool on the Smart Motions toolbar, then click the Play tool to begin the animation.
To export a model from TriSpectives to another application, select the model.
Choose Export Model from the File menu and specify the name of the file and its type.
Click Save, and if necessary, complete any further dialog boxes that appear.
To import a model into TriSpectives from another application, make sure that no IntelliShapes are selected in the scene. Also, make sure that the Edit IntelliShapes and Edit Surfaces tools are inactive.
From the Insert menu, choose Model from File. Select the type of model you want to import and double-click the model name in the list of files.